Hello and welcome to Warp Factor Unknown, a Star Trek rewatch podcast where we take a random episode of Star Trek for a rewatch and discussion. My name's Dan and I'm joined today by my co-host Tom.
Hello everyone, nice to be here again.
Today we are sticking with Lower Decks. We're now in Season 3, Episode 3, Mining the Mind's Mine. Got it right first time, very happy with that. Tom, Mining the Mind's Mine.
So yeah, I've seen this episode a grand total of one time, which was about half an hour ago. I liked it. I think out of the two, it's the second Lower Deck episode we watched, or is it third?
This is the second Lower Deck episode.
So out of the second Lower Deck episode we watched, I think I preferred the first one, which is earlier on in the season, in this series, sorry. This one I thought was good. I still enjoyed it, but it wasn't as laugh out loud funny, I thought, as
I think I'll completely agree with that. The first one we got was Season 1, Episode 4, Moist Vessel.
Yeah.
The one we spoke about, in the last podcast, so it should be fresh in our memory.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was, had a lot more funny jokes. This one was, still, I think it still had some pretty good jokes, some pretty good deep references, which I quite enjoyed. I was thinking, I wonder if Tom noticed it, or if Tom got that reference, or da-da-da. And there's one I know you definitely didn't get, so I guess we could start there.
Yeah.
So, the middle of the episode, I guess. We're not doing this in the order of the episode. When the mind balls break, the psychic balls break, and they get all the fantasies coming, the big monster fantasies start coming out. The first one that comes up is like a dragon thing, a very colourful flying dragon. Yeah. And it grabs that guy who I had to look up. His name is Stephen Stevens, which is
that right?
That's a good name.
Yeah.
It grabs Stephen Stevens. When I first watched it a few days ago, I was like, I know that dragon. Where have I seen a dragon before? And I was like, I think it's it from the animated series. And I did some Googling, and I was looking around, and I was right, and I was very happy that I was right. That dragon, and I had to look it up, it was, in the animated series, Season 2, Episode 5, How Sharper Than a Serpent's Tooth. And I was just super happy that I remembered that dragon was a reference. Yeah. I don't know what it's called, or what it did, or what happened in an episode, but yeah.
Yeah, that's good to know.
By Lower Decks, I think that's a pretty deep cut, a deep reference.
Yeah, I mean, I've never watched the anime series, but I probably still wouldn't have got that reference, even had I watched the anime series.
I mean, I'll be honest, it almost passed me by, and I was pretty impressed I actually remembered it.
It shows the knowledge that the creators of the show have got, that they put these little references and things like that in.
That's kind of my point. I was like, they really go to great effort to put in little references, which, for the most part, don't matter. It doesn't matter if you don't know what that dragon was. But if you do know what a dragon is, that's cool. You kind of go, oh, that's cool. Yeah. See, I like that, and that's kind of what I like about Lower Decks. During the opening credits, and you pointed out as it was going through, because in the last podcast we spoke about how the Lower Deck, in the title credits, it has a battle scene which evolves. So we're now in Season 3, and now there's the crystalline entities there.
Yes, I noticed that,
Yeah, and also the other ships are there. They're the pack-led ships, which get introduced in that design in Lower Deck. So you know the Romulans, Borg, pack-leds, and the crystalline entity.
Are the pack-leds like how they are, or how they were in Next Gen? Yeah.
Why won't it make it go? They're exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have to watch all of Lower Decks and and they are as good.
How are they a warp-capable species?
I think it's revealed in Lower Decks, or maybe it's just a fan theory, but in the TNG episode, they trick the Enterprise. And they almost get away with it. They trick Geordi onto the ship, and they hold him hostage, and to make their ship go faster. So while they're not smart by the traditional sort of sense, they're quite deceptive. And I don't know if it's established in canon or if it's just a fan theory, but I sort of go by the fact that they must have deceived their way into getting a warp-capable ship or ships, and I don't know. I guess that's actually how they sort of stole it. I guess, or
so they're quite smart when it comes to deception, but not when it comes to actually.
I suppose, like maybe they're really quite. I don't know, they look strong, but maybe they are quite strong. Maybe they're quite fighty.
I'm looking forward to watching some episodes with the Packlers.
Packlers. Hopefully, maybe we'll get the TNG Packlet episode. I think we'd like that. Yeah, episode 10 of our podcast.
Yeah, I either want that or the Darmok episode.
Yes. Oh, did you see those? I think they're called Temerians. That species, the Darmok species.
Are they in Lower Decks?
Yeah, so one of the characters, I think he's third officer, so he's one of the senior staff. He gets introduced season 2 or season 3. I can't remember where. And we saw him in this episode, but he didn't say anything. I was a bit disappointed because I knew you would really like him. The guy with the knife.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's an actual character. He doesn't get many speaking lines.
No.
But when he does, it's all like, timber and the walls fell. And
brilliant.
It's great every time. And
so they've actually got into Starfleet now.
Yeah. Into Starfleet, it's great. And I think Ransom, the first officer, I think he makes an effort to talk in that metaphor, and vice versa. But Tamarian talks normally, sort of trying to integrate. Yeah, it's good. And I really appreciate that character's there. But yeah, it's a shame he didn't speak in this episode. But also on things that we spoke about in the last Lower Decks podcast, that I want to bring back up this one. In the last one, I was mentioning things in the background of Captain Freeman's office. And I mentioned, she's got a Californian flag.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know why she would have that. In this episode, they said, it's a Cali-class ship. It's a Californian class ship.
That
makes so much. That's so obvious.
Clever.
I was like, oh yeah, of course. That makes sense. That's why she would have a Californian flag.
Cali-class.
Cali-class, which is it's a good name. It's a good class of a ship.
So,
it's a good, And the ship name's Cerritos. I don't quite know what a Cerritos is. Maybe it's like a mythical creature. Any ideas?
I thought it might be based on Doritos.
Doritos, yeah.
But apart from that, that's the only thing I could think of.
400 years is enough time for a myth to establish, and there was a World War III in between there.
Exactly.
The eugenics wars.
Yeah.
So maybe that in Star Trek, Doritos has become Cerritos.
And become its own.
Yeah, it was like a new flavour.
Yeah.
It's like cherry flavoured Doritos.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that. Well, we're talking about ships. Beginning when they're sort of doing like the opening, Stardate, and Captain Freeman's explaining what they're doing and why they're there. There are 3 ships. There's 2 Cali-class ships, and then there's a Excelsior-class ship, the USS Hood. And again, watching it, I was like, I know that ship. I've heard of that ship. Onto Memory Alpha. And yeah, that ship's been around loads. The Hood. It's done like, this mission here and that thing there and whatever. But the thing that I sort of picked up on was that was a ship that Riker served on. I think he was first officer. I think that's what the wiki said. So yeah, again, tons of little references.
Yeah.
To, you don't need to know what the USS Hood is.
No, because I've even heard of the USS Hood. I think I was watching a few Next Gen episodes.
Yeah.
I know. Now you mentioned that.
On the Memory Alpha, it's just like, the Hood served here and it did this and... Yeah, cool. The Hood's been around. I like that. It was like, it served in... It mentioned like it was in one of the Dominion battles, I assume in DS9, so obviously in DS9. So yeah, I like how they have that continuity of this one ship just sort of floating about all the series.
When they meet the other crew...
Yes, the other ensigns.
The other ensigns, and they were competing against each other.
Yeah.
And I thought, these guys are obviously they're from the better ship, and they've said that these guys from
the
Cerritos are not so good. And I thought, that's okay, that's fine. And then they started having these visions of their nightmares, all their desires, which turn into nightmares. And then when they get into that cave and they get stuck, they switch to actually praising them and saying, no, you guys are great. And I remember saying out loud while watching the episode that actually they've got their visions, their desires in the cave with them. And I thought that these guys have
and that was going to be like
the actual crew. And I thought that's how it was going to go, but it did not.
Oh yeah, it could have gone that way. And that would have been a pretty good way to spin the episode. But yeah, no, it didn't. But they just genuinely were impressed by the Cerritos crew and wanted to. But then I kind of didn't buy that whole premise that they'd heard about the Cerritos and these lower deck crew ensigns that do all these shenanigans, and so to impress them, they were just going to do their job really well. But I think if you'd heard about the Cerritos crew, the Cerritos ensigns, you would know that they just mess about and just don't follow the rules. So that wouldn't be the best way to get their attention.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
It does. So they almost went about it in a way that, if they researched and really respected the crew, would not have worked. They'd
have been like, let's play some basketball. They would have. I don't know, but it was fine, and they were pretty good characters. They were pretty fun.
Yeah, a couple of new characters I've not seen before. The bird professor.
Yes, Oh, I don't know his name. Yeah, he's been around a little bit. Yeah, he's good. I really liked him. I adore his work ethic, and he's like, "Oh, just skim read this, and just sort of go with the flow."
That's it.
Yeah,
there's no point learning if no one's listening.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. That's how it might be. That's how work should be. That's how life should be. He's my kind of guy.
Yeah, he was good in that episode.
Yeah, and I like he was eating those worms.
Oh yeah,
but I was like, it wasn't Gok, but it looked like Gok. You know, they were Klingon worms.
Yeah, he said they were charred. He said
charred. Yeah, but they were alive, or they looked. But it looked charred. But yeah, I was weird. It looked like Gok, but I think it'd been cool if it was eating Gok, because Gok is just worms.
Yeah. Is Gok a Gark or whatever is
Gok,
it?
Yeah.
Is Gark warm? Is it Gark raw?
I believe the Klingons say a few times it's best served fresh.
Yes.
So I would assume it's raw.
So not charred.
Not charred.
This
no.
is probably a variation on there.
Yeah.
On the theme.
It could be like sort of like like sushi and sashimi, sort of like similar but different.
He'd been following the Klingon cookbook, but decided to just
maybe it's just like a Klingon fusion food.
Yeah, it could well be. Yeah.
Yeah. When Tendi first goes into the mess hall to meet that bird professor, I don't know if you noticed it. It was a pretty. I don't know if it's in any of your episodes. I'm going to look out for it now to see if it is. They have the Starfleet logo, the badge on the wall, but sticking through the badge, but the big logo says like USS Cerrito, is a cocktail stick with 2 olives. I was like, that's so stupid.
I didn't see it.
No, I didn't see it on the first watch. I only caught it later on.
Yeah.
And so now, when I watch Lotus, I'm going to look out in the mess hall to see if that's just a one-time gag.
Yeah.
Or if they've kept it in there. It's brilliant. It's really funny.
I'll look out for it next time as well.
Okay, should we talk about the illusions and the fantasies that our protagonists have? So, did you get the reference with Rutherford? When he got the scientist lady. Do you know who that was?
No.
I didn't think you did because you didn't react to it when we were watching it. Leah Brahms.
I recognise that name.
Yeah, you do. Cast your mind back to Geordie LaForge and his holodeck girlfriend.
Oh, yes!
Yeah.
Yes!
It's her. And it's actually her
Leah
as the actress.
Brahms.
She came back as a guest voice actor.
How did I not notice?
Yeah. Isn't that a brilliant callback?
That is.
What a fantastic reference. That episode of Star Trek, the one where Geordie basically gets a holodeck girlfriend and then gets caught out by the real Leah Brahms. That's an episode of Star Trek which I don't relish a rewatch. It's so cringy. I find, you get that sort of secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah.
It's so much like that where I struggle to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm not really one for awkward humour. If that makes sense, like that kind of awkward comedy.
So like The Office.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of The Office.
No.
So yeah, I don't enjoy that secondhand embarrassment when Geordie gets caught out of his hollow girlfriend. But yeah, I love the reference.
Just keep thinking about when Picard calls Lieutenant Broccoli, and then the embarrassment he faces.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. You like cringe for him, but it's I know what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew you didn't get that reference in the Netflix.
Yeah.
I knew if you'd recognise it, you would like it.
Yeah, because he had the dragon, then her vision turned into a wolf, or sort of like a.
Okay, yeah. So Mariners was sort of jumping in season 3, so I don't know when, but Mariner gets a girlfriend. She's one of the crew on Cerritos. Her name was Jennifer, and I can't remember how they meet, and I'm pretty sure they don't stay together. I don't know how. Yeah, that's Mariner's real girlfriend. I think the joke is that Mariner's got commitment issues, which is, I guess, kind of true. She tends to. She's quite a destructive character.
Yeah. She
has her friends. As I saw from last episode, like she does not want a promotion. She'll burn to the ground everything around her.
Yeah.
So I guess that extends also to her personal relationships. Boinder's little temptation.
Oh yeah, his little side car.
I love that little bike. It's like a mini little starship. It has like little nacelles. It has the red stripes on the side. It's so cool. It's so stupid.
Even in his biggest desire, he's in the sidecar.
Yeah, he's a passenger. Yeah. Such a good joke. It's so simple. Yeah, but again, it's just like that's his character trait is he wants to succeed well in Starfleet. He wants to be captain.
Yeah.
I don't know what my fantasy would be if I was near one of those mind rocks. I don't think I want to see it. Whatever it might be, I don't want to see it.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, no.
Especially, maybe, you know, in a private room. Actually, no, that sounds wrong. But I would like to see my...
Yeah, you're right, because in the beginning, in the very opening scene where that scientist is being tempted by his year 7 geography teacher in like a toga, it's like he was well up for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess if I was on my own, then...
But yeah.
Fantasy away, I guess.
If you are projecting your vision to everyone else that's watching...
Yeah, your work colleagues.
Your work colleagues, or people that may remind this to you for the rest of your life, then, there should be like a privacy filter on it, so you can only see what your desire is.
You have like a safer work fantasy, and then you're not safe for work.
And everyone else
fantasy.
that's watching just sees this filter.
Yeah,
it's
all
all blurred,
blurry,
or like a little screen comes up that says like not safe for work or something like that. I think that would be. Providing your desire is not safe for work, it might be completely safe. It might be a big book.
It might be, or like Boyners was just like go on a space adventure.
Exactly.
It may not be a sexy Andorian girl, but it might be. I don't know. I like the Klingon clowns.
Yes.
With the bat-leth arms.
They were so good.
And the Borg snake. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Really funny.
I really like that.
Yeah, I love that. And I was thinking, I was like, I wonder if people on Earth, they're the scary stories of the 24th century. Like, do you tell your children before you go to bed, oh, you best go to bed or the Klingon clowns will get you? You know.
Yeah.
Watch out for the Borg snakes. Like, if, like, the 24th century, I assume they have, like, horror movies and stuff. Or horror novels.
Well, you'd think they'd be fully immersive as well.
After the Battle of War 359, like, a load of, like, Borg fantasy stories, like a Borg snake.
Yeah. Because that's the first Borg snake I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. It also, like, why wouldn't the Borg assimilate non-humanoid species?
And true, yeah. So you could have Borg squirrels, taking that as an example.
Borg spiders. Absolutely terrifying.
Yeah. Borg worms.
Borg worms, yeah.
Fortunately, some of the Borg, change species be quite easy to get away from.
Yes.
But, say for example, the Borg lions or the Borg cheetahs.
Oh, yeah.
You'd really have trouble.
Yeah.
You'd be assimilated really quickly.
You would. Yeah. There'd be no getting away from that. So, yeah, scary Borg. I kind of like the idea that the scary stories of the 24th century are just, Klingon clowns. I like that.
Yeah. Borg whales. Borg whales, yeah.
Well, we've seen some pretty big alien species that float around in space, like big space whales and stuff. And, like, whatever that big creature is, and you only encounter at Farpoint.
Oh, the big jellyfish thing.
The big jellyfish thing.
Yeah.
Like, assimilate one of those and then, like, have a giant jellyfish that can just go and, like, engulf an entire planet in one go. Just, like, one assimilated entire thing.
That's it.
Yeah. I could run the Borg better. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If I was in charge.
I mean, think big. That's
exactly.
What you got to tell the Borg, because they seem to be going for these smaller, humans.
Say small, but they have like these massive cubes.
Yeah. No, but the races they go for, whereas they went for the jellyfish.
Yeah, exactly.
The Farpoint jellyfish.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
I don't know what's that species from Voyager.
8472.
Yeah.
They tried to do that. That was the whole storyline.
Could they not Borgify them?
No, that was it. They tried to Borgify them. But 8472 was able to resist them and create like a wall, and that's why Voyager got involved. And Voyager and Janeway, they made an alliance with the Borg, like a little truce. Yeah, that was the whole thing with that. What's in Voyager?
Borg Cardassians, you get the Borgassians.
Yeah,
there's
so much potential here.
Yeah.
I've got to hit. The last episode in the podcast we spoke about we spoke about, I ended up ranting for ages about how insidious Starfleet was. I don't want to do that again. I didn't really pick up too much of that in this episode anyway. Except for one little point. The captains, when they're in that negotiation, they're being given this rock, this souvenir, and neither of them want it. All I could think was, unless there was some like other meaning motive, which I couldn't quite cotton on to, I just got that they were both like devoid of ambition and they're sort of very petty in this approach. Like,
I took it as more of an age thing. Like he kept saying, "Oh, it's generation. Back in your generation, you like to collect these things," and she was like, "Well, and so."
Sort of like an okay boomer kind of.
Yeah,
maybe that was the kind of joke they were going for.
Yeah, it did seem a bit strange that they were so. Adamant they weren't taking this rock.
But then again, like Starfleet and Starfleet captains should be beyond generational rift like that. They shouldn't care about that kind of stuff.
No.
So again, are they so devoid of actual stuff in their life, and that's what they sort of grasp onto.
Yeah.
I'm still sort of that's my tiny little. I think Starfleet might be a bit more hollow than it first appears.
Potentially, I mean, I think those two are just showing the best example.
Yeah, they're always being idiots. I think. Yeah. In my opinion, the best scene in this episode was when Tendi goes to get a pep talk from the doctor, the cat doctor.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy's there with his foot being gnawed on by a fish.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. I love it. It's so funny. The doctor gives this fantastic pep talk while terrifying this guy. And then she cuts the joke's really funny, the pep talk's really good. I just love that scene. It's just a great scene. Love it.
Yeah, because it's quite a heartfelt pep talk, isn't it?
Yeah.
All while referencing this guy's foot, saying, it's not like you got something to be worried about, like your toes being eaten off, like this guy. My toes being eaten off? And then what's the next thing she says? Something like...
got to amputate his leg and regrow it.
Yeah, that's it.
Just whacks out a chainsaw. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Oh, that was good.
I haven't got anything much to say about that, other than I just really liked it. I think that's my favourite scene of this whole episode. There's one more thing to talk about in this episode. Mm-hmm. Steve Stevens, that bald guy.
Yeah.
At the very end, he's in when everyone's in the mess hall. And he's there with his two broken arms.
Yeah.
And he's talking to this other person, and he sort of comes in like mid conversation, and he's sort of saying, "Oh, the doctor said I was clinically dead for 10 minutes, but how can that be?" And he says, "I saw a giant koala on like a something or other." And I was like, oh, the koala from the episode we watched.
Yeah.
And like, obviously, I've seen this episode before.
The link.
Yeah, and I was like, if we hadn't have got the Lower Decks episode last, would not have got that reference.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my mind started racing, and I was like, okay, so I'm just going to throw a load of questions at you, Tom. These are all rhetorical.
Yeah.
Okay. The koala's there when you die and ascend. So if you ascend, you also die. Or does the koala inhabit both the living and dead universe? Or did Stevens briefly ascend? There are so many like what ifs.
Yeah. I would guess this koala exists in a different dimension. So maybe he's there when you ascend or die.
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Aggie, do you agree, Aggie?
Aggie agrees.
Yeah. So I think that's probably. It could be any number of things.
It could be.
Yeah.
It opened up so many questions. I was like, that's amazing. This koala is, I don't know what it is. It's a thing. Like, maybe that guy in the last episode, maybe he didn't ascend. Maybe he just died. Maybe the koala was like, you know too much, and just jump.
Yeah.
Because he was burning. He was in pain.
Oh, he was.
So
he was, yeah.
Maybe that was just a koala.
So maybe he wasn't being allowed to be ascended.
Just killing him. Yeah, that koala's... I
wonder if the koala comes back again in any other...
I mean, I'm gonna really watch out for it now.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I really enjoyed that, and I'm really glad it came up again. Sort of a little note about what we're doing with this podcast and how it's going. I really enjoyed things like that. We've been watching like one episode, and you sort of tend to pull something out from the previous ones we've watched, even though they're disjointed in the show and the series and what we're watching. Yeah, we're putting out like there's two seasons between these two things, this koala thing. But in the last episode, last podcast when I was ranting about replicators and that kind of stuff, and that came from watching the Deep Space Nine episode.
Yeah.
And into Lower Decks, and I liked how I was able to pull those sort of threads out of it.
That's just it. I mean, you've watched far more Trek episodes than I have, but I've watched in the limited few I've seen, especially lately. I can still put links together between different episodes and different series. So
I just really enjoyed this exercise of going through watching these. Basically a shotgun approach, like a scattering of random episodes. Yeah,
still been able to link it.
Yeah, that was more like a side tangent about how I'm enjoying what we're doing, this process of watching Star Trek.
It's good. It's good how, even though it's so different, it doesn't matter if it's animated or actually acted. By people.
Yeah.
It's still links together. But I'm just going to mention the characters. I don't think we mentioned them yet, but the rock creature.
Oh,
and his little
the Scraggle, the
Scraggle, and then his person you thought he wasn't getting on with, but they were working together to actually.
Yeah.
Well, I like it when they get caught at the end. It's just like
I've got somewhere to be.
Yeah, that's it. Let's go. I just thought it was quite good.
I like how how Freeman was like, oh, the Scraggle wanted more rocks? I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
yeah.
So, should we wrap up? Do a little final thoughts and feelings, and then the IMDb's?
I think so.
Yeah, okay, cool. Do you want to go for it?
So, having watched the once, I thought it was a above average Drake episode. There wasn't really any parts I didn't like. A couple of parts that didn't really make sense on reflection, like, for example, bickering over the stone or, things like that, but on the whole, it's just a nice, easy watch. Passed really quickly and had some funny moments in it and some quite heartfelt moments, like when the doctor was giving a speech.
Good pep talk,
So, all things said, I would give it a 7.
I mean, I agree with you exactly on all points. And so, as we said, like at the opening part of this podcast, it was a good episode. I think I preferred the other Lower Decks when we watched. I think it had more jokes, a bit more consistently funny, I think. Lower Decks is just an easy watch. I think it's one of those shows that even a bad episode is still a good episode.
Yeah.
I tend to go by the approach of it. With Marvel movies, how some of them are pretty subpar and, a little bit boring, but even a bad Marvel film, it's still watchable. It's still, they're never so bad you can't watch it.
No.
It's still pretty enjoyable for what they are. So I think that gets a little bit less true the more and more they push out. But yes, I guess I'm like that of Lower Decks. Even a bad Lower Decks is still a good Lower Decks.
Watching, yeah.
Still worth watching. Yeah, I might go a 7 as well. Yeah, it's a solid episode. There's nothing to dislike, but there was nothing really to love either, I suppose. Okay, cool. Right, let's get up the actual IMDb rating. So, IMDb gives Mining the Mind's Eye 7.4.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, I'm happy with my 7.
Yeah, nothing really to say about that. And yeah, it might just be that a bit high rating. Maybe some people found that arguing with the two captains, just that joke maybe it just landed a bit more better with some other people. But I'm pretty happy with the episode. It's a good episode.
Yeah.
I want to go watch more Lower Decks now.
Yeah, me too.
I wonder when season 5's coming out. I think I heard that it has started to be recorded, shot, filmed, whatever you say for animated cartoons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's happening, which is good. So, the next part of our podcast is The Spin. I ask this every time, and I think we kind of get similar answers every time. Any particular show you would like to watch, or not like to watch?
My normal answers would be TNG, Voyager, or DS9.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with an episode of Enterprise.
Yeah.
But anything really.
Yeah.
If it's another episode of Lower Decks, I'll be happy with that.
Yeah, I think I've said the last few episodes I really want to watch a original series. I want to get some Kirk action, so that's where I'm at. But
original series would be good too.
Yeah, but again, kind of anything, I think. So let's have a spin and see what we get. Disco.
Disco.
Is this our third disco or second disco?
This must be our second disco.
We've only done one disco, haven't we?
One disco.
We've done one disco. We're going back to disco or Discovery. So yeah, disco. How do you feel about disco?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say I'm relatively happy with that.
Yeah, because we got season 4. We got season 4, and it was near the end of season 4 as well. So actually, I'd kind of like. Is it 2? I think season 2, the one where they have Captain Pike and Spock. So Strange New. I don't know if you know this. Strange New Worlds was a spin-off from Discovery.
Yes, I think I did.
Yeah. So I would quite like some of the episodes where it has Pike and Spock and that crew in it. That'd be cool. There's 4, isn't there?
Yes.
Okay. So I think season 2 is what I want, because I want that. Or we could have season 3.
3 is good.
3 is good.
Yeah.
It's not season 4. I think it's kind of nice with these like story arc shows to have a different series like that, because that's when we spoke about Discovery in our last podcast. A reasonable chunk of it was me sort of trying to remember and relay what was happening in these other series. So it'd be nice to go back and see if that was the case.
Yeah.
Season 3 is I know what happens in season 3. They're trying to discover the source of the bird. So do you remember on our Discovery podcast, I was relaying what happened in the previous series for you. So they'd gone to the future.
Yeah.
And they discovered that warp travel wasn't a thing.
That's right.
Because there was basically a nuclear kind of thing and all warp ships exploded. So they're trying to discover that.
Mm.
I think it's a combination of trying to find Starfleet and also fix the burn or discover what happened to the burn. I think something around that. Yeah, it was pretty good. I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I quite enjoyed
yeah,
it.
that'll be good.
Any idea how many episodes are in season 3?
16.
16. 13.
Ah.
Okay.
I think there's 13 episodes in season. Ah, yeah. 13.
13. Oh, well. It turns out there were 13
Oh,
episodes.
just showed the depths of my knowledge of Star Trek.
We had to keep up the illusion that you're actually a genius
absolutely.
at this.
Yeah.
Don't really care what episode, I suppose. I mean, a good one. But I can't remember any of them specifically, so I don't care which episode we get. I assume you're the same? Because you've not seen season 3? No. Episode 13.
13, okay.
So it was, for those at home, it was, the spinner was going round and it almost landed on episode 1, but it just tipped over to 13. Which I guess that means we both would have preferred episode 1, because
I think
that
so.
would have given more context.
Yeah.
Which is going to give zero context. I can remember how the season ends, and I didn't love the cause of the burn, shall we say. So you'll get to hear about me talk about that next time, Tom.
That's fine.
Look forward to that.
Put myself for a 10-minute rant.
No, well, not a 10-minute rant. More just like, as you know, I love Star Trek and all its variations.
Yeah.
But I don't love it all as much as I love some of it.
No.
And I think that particular plot thread is one I don't. I think they could have done it. We could have done a bit differently, a bit better.
Okay.
So we're doing. Oh, I say we've chosen the episode. Haven't actually found the name of it yet. So let me go find that. It's a 2-parter.
Is it?
It is a 2-parter. So the 12, There Is a Tide, and That Hope Is You, Part 2. Yeah, so on Wikipedia, it doesn't give There Is a Tide, like Part 1. It just says Part 2 on episode 13.
That's fine. 2 parts.
I'll double check on like Paramount Plus. Make sure it is actually a 2-parter.
Yeah.
People at home, if it is a 2-parter, watching 12 and 13. If it's not just 13, let you know. But I can see here on Wikipedia that episode 12, directed by our dear friend Jonathan Frakes.
Fantastic.
He's always doing so.
I like a good Frakes directed
let
episode.
me find. Remember me have to get some synopsises. I guess watching 2 will give us more context. So the synopsis for episode 12, There Is a Tide. After capturing the USS Discovery, Asira seeks a meeting with Admiral Vance, while Burnham and the crew must overcome unimaginable odds as they attempt to regain command of their ship. So yeah, I don't remember who Asira is or Vance. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Actually, Asira. I'm sure we'll hear it in the episode. But that's really fun. So, I guess the crew have lost command of the ship. It's been taken over.
Yeah.
By somebody. They got to get it back. The synopsis for That Hope Is You, Part 2, is... as the Emerald Chain tightens its grip and the mystery of the burn is finally solved, Burnham and the crew have one last chance to save themselves and the Federation. Dun dun dun. Yeah, sounds good.
Cool.
It's kind of weird that it's called That Hope Is You, Part 2.
Yeah.
But then episode 12 hasn't got Part 1 in the name. I find it kind of weird. So
yeah.
I'm a little confused.
That's all right. We'll find out. I'm sure we'll watch it.
Thank you for listening to Warp Factor Unknown today, where we spoke about another Lower Decks episode, Mining the Mind's Mind. That's season 3, episode 3.
Season 3, episode 3, yes.
Yeah, I think we both quite enjoyed that. And hope you join us again when we're going back to Discovery. We're discovering more Discovery. We're going season 3, episode 13. Definitely episode 13. Potentially episode 12 as well. We'll still enjoy it. You think it's a 2-parter? Might be a 2-parter. We'll see. You have to find out for yourselves at home. Join us again next time, and thank you.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.
If you'd like to contact us, please email us at warpfactorunknown@outlook.com. That again is warpfactorunknown@outlook.com. The music we've been using for these episodes is called Starfleet Command by Jeff Harvey, and you can find more of his work on pixabay.com.